Caitlyn Clark just won WNBA Player of the Week again. Third time this season. Fastest player ever to hit 1,500 points and 650 assists. Angel Reese's response? She's blaming media bias. She's calling Clark privileged, like Caitlyn didn't just drop a triple-double and torch Seattle for 32 points in the same week. And what Reese said after losing that award again is the part nobody's talking about yet, but absolutely embarrassing for Reese. Are you Team Clark, the baby goat, or Team Reese, the baby giraffe? Let me know down in the comments below.
She's caught fire. She puts it up and scores. That's it. It's a triple-double for Caitlyn. Bounce pass. Oh my goodness gracious. Clark throws the foul. Oh, she hits. Clark from way downtown. She hits a three.
My goodness.
Before we talk about Caitlyn's record-breaking week, let's first take a look at Reese's humiliating week. I'm the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. That's what Angel Reese called herself. Let that sit for a second because Jordan won 6 championships and never had to defend a single one of them in a press conference. He let the ring count speak. So what did Reese do the week after putting her own name next to his? She got blocked without the defender even leaving the floor, tripped over her own 2 feet, and got skipped over by a former president of the United States, all in the same weekend. Start with the block. A'ja Wilson stuffed Reese's shot at the rim during All-Star Weekend without jumping. Not a little hop, not a small lift off the ground, nothing. Wilson stood flat-footed and swatted it like she was bored. That clip is still getting reposted because of how it looks in real time, and slowed down it looks even worse. Fans didn't need commentary on that one, the replay did all the talking.
I want to ask about 2 moments. Have you ever blocked a shot that you didn't mean to block?
Right. Angel was not supposed to do that. I was trying to get out of the way. I do not like to block shots during All-Star games because what am I doing? So yeah, no, I've never had that happen to me and I'm so sorry.
Then, on the same game, Reese lost her footing and hit the floor with nobody around her. No contact, no hand check, no screen. Just her legs getting tangled up and gravity finishing the job at the worst possible time, in front of a crowd that already had cameras up recording her every move. Combine that with the block and you've got 2 humiliating clips from the same span, both of them completely self-inflicted. Now bring in Barack Obama. He showed up to All-Star Weekend, and he made a point of pulling Caitlyn Clark aside for a real conversation, hyping her up, treating her like the moment belonged to her. Cameras caught the whole thing, the smile, the handshake, the genuine respect. Reese stood a few feet away and got nothing. No wave, no nod, not even a glance in her direction. That's not a rumor, that's just what the footage shows.
Oh, hey, Caitlyn, how are you? Really nice to meet you. You're great. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
Don't let all this nonsense get you down.
Crazy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, I always say one of the things that was luckiest for me was I didn't get famous till I was like 45. So I was an old man. I mean, you're my daughter's age. They're not to have that much, you know, burden and nonsense. So don't lose that joy. The game's like the game. And you're a hooper. And you hoop.
I try, sometimes.
You know, no, you're always hooping.
Thanks.
And you're on a nice little run right now.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
You mind if I get a picture?
Yeah, come on.
Ready?
Come on.
So cute. Wait, guys, get in with me too.
Come on.
Nice to meet you.
Come on.
Picture the split screen. On one side, you've got Clark getting a hug and a pep talk from a former president in front of the entire basketball world. On the other side, you've got Reese standing near the action with a phone camera pointed somewhere else entirely, completely outside the frame. That image spread fast because it didn't need a caption. People saw it and immediately understood the gap between the 2 players in that moment. No explanation necessary. And that's exactly why fans piled on so hard that weekend. Reese had just called herself the Michael Jordan of the league, and within days the internet had a highlight reel of her getting blocked without a jump, falling on her own, and getting ignored by a president, all stacked together. The distance between the claim and the footage was too obvious to explain away, and comment sections turned into a pile-on because the clips did the arguing for them.
At All-Star Weekend, you and Angel made a bet with each other on this game. Is that bet still?
This is how the rich stay rich.
This
You
is how
gotta,
the rich
you
get
gotta
rich.
say, you gotta say this money. I'm gonna see you next week on Wednesday.
Yeah.
At night?
No, at practice.
Oh, at practice? I mean, I know y'all gonna lose, but if y'all lose,
I
you pay-
get to have that.
if y'all win, you get 400.
I get 400.
And if we lose, then you get. No, you owe me 400. Bet I'm staying on that.
Then, right on top of all that, the betting story with Paige Beckers surfaced. Reports connected Reese to betting activity tied her next game with Beckers, the kind of story that brings in actual legal scrutiny, not just internet mockery. That's not a bad look. That's a real investigation hanging over her name while the block and the fall were still getting passed around online. So in one 72-hour stretch, the self-proclaimed greatest of all time got blocked by a flat-footed defender, fell down on her own, got skipped by a president, and picked up a betting investigation attached to her name. That's the receipt. And while all of that was piling up on Reese's timeline, Caitlyn Clark was 3 cities away quietly rewriting the WNBA record book.
It's incredible. She does things that we haven't seen. You know, in the moment, sometimes it's surreal. Just incredible.
I get my hats off to Tutu to lead us and put us in the right position to really be effective.
Clark launches, pulls at the foul line, and knocks it down. Time from CC. Step back, deep one, got it from Eugene. Just shaking off that Seattle defense. Purple rain in Seattle.
While Reese was falling down and getting ignored by a president, Caitlyn Clark became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,500 career points and 650 assists. Think about what that actually takes physically, night after night, without a single game off to recover. You're not just scoring, you're setting up teammates, guarding the other team's best player, and doing it across 3 different cities in the same stretch of days. That's the part people skip over when they just read the headline number.
Long 3 from Caitlyn. Oh my goodness.
Matter. You want to know the shot that Caitlyn Clark likes? It's right here. Going left to that step back, the deep 3. It's automatic. That's a layup for her every single time. You got to continue.
So 4.2 seconds for Indiana to try to get a good look. Clark, yes! What a shot!
The gauntlet went Seattle, then Portland, then Minnesota, and each of those teams plays defense completely different from the last one. Seattle likes to switch everything and clog the paint. Portland trapped the ball handler and force it out of your hands early. Minnesota sits back in a zone and dares you to shoot over the top of it. Clark didn't just survive 3 different schemes, she solved all 3 in the same week, which is a completely different problem than just showing up and scoring against one style of defense you've already figured out. Start with Portland, because that's the game stat analysts flagged immediately. Clark closed it with a triple-double, double-digit points, double-digit assists, and double-digit rebounds in the same night. The kind of stat line that usually belongs to a guy averaging 20 boards in the paint, not a guard running the point. Analysts didn't call it just a good line, they called it historic, because the combination of shooting efficiency and playmaking in that specific game put her in company that barely exists at the guard position. A triple-double from a big man controlling the glass is one thing. A triple-double from the player also running your entire offense is a completely different level of stress on the body and the mind.
Great job in year 1 with the expansion franchise. Inside, could it be a triple-double? Yes, it is. The triple-double for Caitlyn Clark. 26 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds.
Then Seattle. 32 points on 9 of 14 shooting from the field. Do the math on that for a second, because the shooting percentage matters more than the raw total to anybody who actually tracks this stuff. Scoring 32 points on 25 shots means you're heaving the ball up all night, hoping something falls. Scoring 32 points on 14 shots means almost every possession ended in a bucket, which means the defense had no answer regardless of what they tried. That's not a hot streak. That's a team full of defenders standing there watching a shot go in they had no real way to stop.
Clark launches and hits a three.
That's one way to teach a lesson. You keep reaching, I'm gonna keep teaching.
Clark launches and hits a three.
That's one way to teach a lesson. You keep reaching, I'm gonna keep teaching.
Minnesota closed out the stretch, and by the time it was over, Clark's weekly average sat at 25.7 points, 9.0 assists, and 5.0 rebounds a game. Across 3 cities, 3 different defensive looks, and back-to-back-to-back travel, those numbers didn't drop off. They stayed locked in the entire time. That's the part that separates a good week from a historically verified one, because the averages held up even as the opponents changed and the travel piled up.
An opportunity for Indiana to creep closer. Clark, backdoor, Mitchell, reverses it in. Timeout, Minnesota.
And then coming off the Boston screen, Mitchell back cuts along the baseline. So good at that. And Caitlyn Clark delivers her the basketball. Make no mistake, this is starting on the defensive end for the Indiana Fever. The blitzes in the second half.
Combine the triple-double, the shooting efficiency, and the weekly averages, and the league didn't have much of a choice. Third Player of the Week award of the season, right on the heels of already winning Player of the Month back in June. That's not a coincidence. That's a full season of receipts stacking up one after another.
27 games down and 17 to go. Here's Clark off the screen and drills her first three.
It's what we're here for.
27 games down and 17 to go. Here's Clark off the screen and drills her first three.
It's what we're here for.
And none of this happened in isolation, because the team around her kept climbing right alongside her. Aaliyah Boston controlled the paint and cleaned up the glass all 3 games. Kelsey Mitchell kept knocking down shots off the catch the second a defender left her open for even a second. Lexi Hull locked up the other team's top scorer possession after possession without needing credit for it. Sophie Cunningham brought the exact energy off the bench that swings momentum in the 4th quarter when legs get tired. None of them got buried under Clark's usage. They all got better playing next to her, which is the clearest sign of a point guard actually doing her job right. So this wasn't a hot week that'll cool off next month. This was a verified stretch that put Clark's name next to Mark's. Nobody else in league history has hit this fast. Across 3 cities against 3 different defenses, while her teammates rose right along with her instead of disappearing into her shadow. Now compare that to what Reese's team did in their next game, because Las Vegas didn't just beat Atlanta, they ran them off their own floor by 22 points.
Angel Reese, bar 28! Grabbing me bounds. It's fate. Let's get it. Burn!
Sure, keep shooting threes. They have to go in at some point, right?
Burn! It was Barbie night in Atlanta, so she built a dollhouse full of brick. Burn!
Somehow, no travel is called as she's playing hopscotch on the court.
Burn!
We're going triple platinum. Get your butters ready. Butter, 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 butter pecan.
Bang!
Exhibit A, the league is fixed to pad her rebounds.
Bang!
But they can't fix her layups.
Bang!
22 points. That's the final margin when Las Vegas got done with Reese's team, and the scoreboard did more damage than any headline could. This wasn't a game that stayed close into the 4th quarter before slipping away late. This was a team getting run off their own floor from the 2nd quarter on, while Reese's Michael Jordan talk was still sitting online for anybody to scroll back and read. The Aces didn't do anything fancy to make it happen. They just picked up the pace and forced the ball out of Reese's hands early in the shot clock, every single possession. Vegas switched everything on defense, took away the easy post touches, and dared anybody else on that roster to beat them off the dribble. Nobody could. The result was a team that looked disorganized and reactive for 40 straight minutes, chasing the game instead of controlling it, which is exactly what happens when a defense takes away your first option and you don't have a second one ready. Now look at what Reese actually put up that night, because the box score tells a different story than the highlight reel wants you to believe. The rebounds were there, the scoring was fine, but the score at the final buzzer didn't move an inch in her favor. And that's the number that actually counts. Stats without wins don't build a legacy. They just fill up a stat sheet nobody remembers by June. Analysts pointed to this exact game as proof, because you can grab boards all night and still watch the other team celebrate at midcourt when it's over.
Nah, because why did the WNBA Instagram post this as a highlight? Closed her eyes and shot it backwards, but hey, me bounce, am I right? Brick Barbie, do your thing, it's your time to shine.
Job security like WNBA refs. Look at that travel. She's high stepping through. Uncoordinated. Pray up into a stat pad me bound. Shocker.
You know, she's got the athletic ability of a toaster. That's traveling. About time, Bob! About time!
Fans didn't let it slide either. The question started spreading fast. How does someone struggling to win games get to call herself the best ever? That question got asked next to highlight clips of the blowout, next to the box score, next to the Michael Jordan comment from weeks earlier, and the combination made it impossible to defend. Post-game, the body language didn't help her case. Short answers, no real accountability, nothing that sounded like a leader taking ownership of a 22-point loss. It fueled more criticism instead of quieting any of it down. Compare that to how Fever games have gone under pressure lately, where the response after a tough stretch looks completely different, and you'll see exactly why one team's locker room is trusted right now and the other isn't. The Aces game became the clearest proof yet that the gap between what Reese says and what she does on the court has never been wider. And it's this exact loss, sitting right next to Clark's third Player of the Week win, that pushed Reese to say something about bias and privilege that fans are still passing around today.
What makes you her?
I'm really confident within myself. Nobody can tell me I'm not that girl. I wake up every morning.
And now she's in Atlanta. What's Atlanta giving?
Atlanta giving black girl magic. It's giving culture. It's giving lemon pepper wings. It's giving Atlanta dream. It's giving everything. So I'm really happy to be in Atlanta. And make sure y'all come out and pull up.
You're gonna see me at a game. Best believe. Last question: Are you the art or the artist tonight?
I'm both. I'm the artist. I'm that girl.
Here's the quote fans dug up and passed around all week. Reese said the media is biased and called Clark privileged, right after losing Player of the Week for what feels like the 10th time this season. Not a subtweet, not a vague post somebody had to decode. A direct claim that the reason she keeps losing this award has nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with who's covering it. Timing matters here, and it's not on Reese's side. This comment dropped right after Clark picked up her third Player of the Week award of the season, the one built on a triple-double in Portland and 32 points on 9 of 14 shooting in Seattle. So instead of landing like some principled stand against unfair coverage, it landed like a complaint filed the same week the numbers made the decision easy. Reactive, not principled. That's the difference, and fans caught it instantly.
Nothing makes me feel more alive when Angel Reese takes a layup in the paint without jumping and gets blocked. Come on! Bang! Things defenses love to see. Angel Reese, corner three! Potatoes, see you later! Bang! Me uncoordinated? Me lose the ball? Me flail? Me complain? Me cry? Me pout? Me bang! Now this is an all-star, a cover of 2K, being unguarded like this. Nobody around! Call it a ghost town!
The quote didn't stay buried for long. Clips and screenshots got passed around group chats and comment sections within hours, and the reaction wasn't sympathy, it was mockery. People weren't outraged on Reese's behalf, they were laughing, because the timing made the complaint look like sour grapes dressed up as a bigger argument. When you lose an award the same week your team gets run off the floor by 22 points, blaming the media doesn't land as brave, it lands as an excuse. Put the privilege claim next to the actual box scores from that week and it falls apart fast. Clark's numbers came from 3 different cities, 3 different defenses, and a stat line that included a triple-double and elite shooting efficiency. Numbers don't care about narratives. A stat sheet doesn't know who's more famous or who does more interviews. It just counts what happened on the floor, and what happened on the floor pointed one direction all week long. Look at the sponsorship gap too, because it tells the same story from a different angle. Clark's got Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, and Wilson all backing her hard right now. Reese's got her Reebok line, And reports keep pointing to discounted retail presence, meaning the products sitting on shelves at a markdown instead of moving at full price. Sponsors aren't chasing storylines, they're chasing reliability, consistency, somebody who shows up and performs the same way every single week. Clark's post-game interviews after that three-city stretch had her crediting Boston for controlling the paint and crediting Mitchell for knocking down shots all night. That's the opposite of what Reese did the same week, when the conversation turned toward bias instead of her own team's performance.
When you see Angel Reese going full speed, pull out your phones, you're about to see some instant classic. Meme out! Meme out! She's the WOT, worst of all time!
She'd have better luck shooting with a putter. Putter? You mean butter? Butter pecan! I will say one nice thing about her is that she's an underrated passer. Zookeeper, the baby giraffe has left the exhibit again!
Now, is there a real conversation to have about how women's sports get covered? Sure, that conversation exists and it's worth having on its own terms. But there's a difference between raising that point honestly and using it to explain away a personal performance gap after a 22-point blowout loss. One's a conversation about coverage, the other's an excuse wearing a conversation's clothes. This whole moment pushed public opinion even further away from Reese and further toward Clark's supporting cast, especially Cunningham and Hull, who fans have started rallying behind hard the last few weeks. People like watching players who credit their teammates instead of blaming the scoreboard. The bias claim fell apart the second anybody lined it up next to a stat sheet, and that's exactly why it spread the way it did online. Heading into next season, that contrast between one team's locker room and one player's excuses isn't going away anytime soon. The numbers already settled this argument before Reese ever said a word about bias. A triple-double in Portland, elite shooting in Seattle, 3 cities, 3 defenses, 1 direction all week. Look at the fever roster building around Clark. Cunningham's energy off the bench, Hull locking up top scorers, Boston controlling the paint, Mitchell knocking down shots off the catch. Clark's third Player of the Week award sits next to a locker room that shares credit. Reese's week sits next to a betting investigation and a 22-point blowout. That difference is the whole story. Are you Team Clark, the baby goat, or Team Reese, the baby giraffe? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.